I'm Eddie Brophy.
I'm Jason Smith.
Now, for those of you, and I don't know if I've really ranted on the show about my theory of sequels. The theory is, in most movies, number 3 is usually the worst. Number 2 is the crapshoot. And of course, Vince McMahon took a giant gamble by staging this phenomenal Super Bowl-esque wrestling event called WrestleMania. Well, then you got to WrestleMania 2, and you got to wonder, like, how do I top the first one? I am proud to say that this was the Terminator 2 Judgment Day of WrestleManias, or of wrestling pay-per-views, if you will. Of course, the highlights for me that stick out, King Kong, Bundy, and Hogan in the steel cage.
Yep.
Well, let's think about it. This was the WrestleMania with more gimmicks. You had the boxing match with Mr. T and Roddy Piper, and then, of course, you had the big battle royal with Andre the Giant.
And all the NFL superstars.
So what worked is, as we go along here, you're starting to see Vince kind of coming into his own as a promoter himself and as a businessman and thinking, like, how do we make WrestleMania bigger and better than, well, in this case, the first one we did, and then as we go on, how do we make it bigger and better than the one that came before it? But obviously, I'm going to turn to you for some stats.
All right, this WrestleMania is unique in that it took place not in 1, not 2, but 3 cities. L.A., Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York. Nassau Coliseum, Rosemont Horizon, and L.A. Memorial Sports Arena.
Essentially, this was the Live Aid of wrestling pay-per-views.
Interesting enough, collective combined attendance was 40,085. So it's a pretty small number compared to the first one.
It's small because, I mean, again, you're considering there's 3 arenas, so I feel like that should be a much bigger number, like much more substantial. But again, they did it the first time. You're getting asses in seats just on genuine curiosity alone. I mean, in terms of booking, is there anything you would have done differently from the first Mania?
The one glaring thing I've always seen is when you look at Roddy Piper's career, is he never had that one-on-one WWF title match with Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania. I feel like this would have been the Mania to do that, especially in the steel cage. Like, that would have been just another addition to a great feud.
I won't argue the steel cage itself. That was such an awesome introduction to WrestleMania. Like, all right, how we taught last year, let's get 2 big guys in a cage and just let them beat the holy hell out of each other. I agree, though. As Roddy Piper even stated back in the whole John Cena Nexus thing, he was one of those guys, he never held the WWF title. Mm-hmm. Why? And again, he was hot. He was a hot superstar back then. Why do you throw him in a gimmick match? Like, don't get me wrong, like, the gimmick match idea, I can see where Vince is going with this, or the promoters, or whatever, but why Piper? You know what I mean? Like, why would you do that with Piper?
Just because he's the next star on the show.
So, I mean, I agree with you. I definitely would have put Piper in the steel cage. Or at least just have Piper and Hogan go at it without the gimmick. But obviously, you're going to have your opinion. So, at MO Commentary on Twitter, 978-276-9418. I'm fudging no, I got the number right. That's our voicemail box. If you call someone else by accident, talk to them about WrestleMania. They'll be wondering, what the hell are you doing calling me? But leave your thoughts and opinions. Were you in attendance at one of the 3 arenas for this? How would you have booked it? Would you have booked it differently than Jason? Do you disagree with Jason? Do you agree with us? Overall, though, I mean, there's going to be a lot of things I'm going to criticize about certain WrestleManias, but that's definitely one that you have that I'm on board with. I mean, you may disagree with us. So again, you can reach out to us on Twitter. You can make your own YouTube video, and if it's good enough and we like what you have to say, you don't have to agree with us, but we can put it on our YouTube channel, on Marks on Commentary, or even on, am I going to fudge? Do you want to give the website? Because I always...
MarksOnCommentary.com.
I was going to screw that up, believe it or not.
It's very complicated.
It's a very complicated website, but we are Marks on Mania this evening. From here we go to WrestleMania 3 and forward, so it is Marks on Mania leading to WrestleMania 30 in New Orleans. For Marks on Commentary, I'm Eddie Brophy.
I'm Jason Smith.
WrestleMania 3 is next.